Guild Wars 2 has quite possibly some of the best character customization when it comes to how your character looks, what they wear, and what weapons they wield. Most weapons that are the best looking and most exciting usually come from the gem store, or they're locked behind an achievement, so they're not that simple to get. But today we'll look at some weapons that are good looking and interesting that can be acquired easily, whether buying it from a merchant, getting it on an item drop, or buying a very cheap version just to unlock the skin. And also, I understand this video topic is somewhat subjective, so if you disagree on any of these weapons looking good, that's fine, just bear with me. I'm gonna start with some whole weapon sets that I think are pretty good. First is the Ebon Vanguard weapons. You can get these from the Cultural Weaponsmith in Fort Ebonhawk in the Fields of Ruin map. Even though it says cultural weapon, you can actually use them as any race. Also, the vendor in Eye of the North sells them as well. Now, some of these weapons do look a bit better than others. Some of my favorites are the sword, the dagger, the scepter, but I think this set is great, especially if you go for more of a realistic styled outfit. If you buy these in Ebonhawk, it's just going to cost you karma, and if you just want to unlock the skin, you can just buy the cheapest version, and the vendor in Eye of the North sells them for Tyrian defense seals. Next set is the flame weapons. These I think are probably some of the most underrated weapons. I'd say all of them look good. If you look closely, you can see they sort of have a glowing flames effect, hence the name flame weapons. Some of my favorites are the axe, the shield, the mace, the rifle, the great sword. You can get these from the Cultural Weaponsmith in the Black Citadel, but just like the Ebon Vanguard weapons, you can use these as any race. They each cost 35,000 karma, which might seem like a lot, but seeing as you get karma from just about everything in the game, I don't think it's that bad to spend a large amount of karma to get a weapon skin that you really like. On the topic of cultural weapons, there are quite a lot more out there, which I guess could also be included in this video, but I just picked a couple of my favorites. So if you want to see all the cultural weapons, you can find the cultural weapon vendors in every capital city. Next set is the Flame Serpent weapons. This set looks great. It especially goes well with any red colored outfits. So if red is your favorite color, these should complement that quite nicely. They have a very neat design with the red dragons on them and the gold trim. My favorites are the longbow, the great sword, the hammer, the shield, the pistol with its 3 barrels. You can find these all over the End of Dragons maps. In the PvP reward track, the World vs. World reward track, they drop constantly. But that also means they're very cheap on the trading post. So if you don't have access to End of Dragons, you can still unlock these skins by just buying them from the trading post. They're really cheap. They only cost around 20 silver. The last set is the Eagle Eye set. These are similar to the Flame Serpent weapons in the sense that you can acquire them in the exact same way. Only this time it's over in the Secrets of the Obscure expansion. And just like the Flame Serpent set, they're very cheap, so you can just buy whichever skins you like the best. I'm quite partial to the sword, the dagger, the hammer, the pistol, and also those blue lines on them seem to have a slight animation effect as well. Very nice. Starting on the single weapons, I'm going to start with 3 that were actually fan-made. ArenaNet held what was called the Design a Weapon contest, which is exactly what it sounds like, and the top 3 weapons got added to the game. The weapons are Eclipse, a great sword, Scion's Claw, a sword, and Favor of the Colossus, a torch. Each of these are acquired by simply completing a collection. The only thing to keep in mind here is to start the collection you need an ectoplasmic infused vision crystal, which requires 2 lesser vision crystals, so to make those you need to be level 500 in either armorsmith, tailor, or leatherworker. But once you have the collection started, it's really easy. All you have to do is travel around and talk to an NPC, and at the end you give them an oiled orichalcum weapon part, which will then turn into the weapon. I've already done these collections, so unfortunately I can't show you step by step, but the guide on the wiki is really easy to follow, so if you need a guide, just check the wiki. Okay, let's look at some more super easy and cheap ones. The Jotun Greatsword. This one you can get really early in the game. It can be acquired from a renowned heart in Snowden Drifts, which is a low level area. After you complete the heart, you can buy it for 252 karma. Considering that, I think this is a fantastic skin for the price. For many players, this might have been their first weapon that had particle effects. The Meetoberfest Chalice. It shares the same skin as Chalice of the Gods, but this one is another low-cost karma version. Just help out around the Meetoberfest festival and then you can buy it from Lakor Grizzlemouth. This all takes place in Diessa Plateau. This is another very nice skin with particle effects. Only costs 336 karma. The Modnir Quarterstaff. This one you can get from the Modnir Ulgoth if he drops Pillar of the Ulgoth, or you can just complete a Renowned Heart and buy it for 420 karma. The heart in question is Forward Scout Greta in Harathi Hinterlands. She has a bunch of other Modnir weapons, so check those out while you're at it. I just think the staff is the best looking. Last one I'll mention is Dragon Spine, a spear, which is actually a weapon from Guild Wars 1, the Serrated Spear. You can get the Dragon Spine from Vepar Darkheart in Diessa Plateau. The cheap version only costs 252 karma, and you get what I think is one of the best looking spears. Okay, now I'd also like to mention some weapons from Path of Fire. The Forged weapons and the Sun Spear and Sun Scythe. These ones are all great looking weapons, but they can be a little expensive to buy, although they do drop from pretty common sources. The Forged weapons all drop from battered forged components, which are loot bags you'll get from pretty much any forged boss, champion rank or higher. And the Sun Spear and Sun Scythe both drop from Sun Spear caches, which are loot boxes found around the domain of Istan. Okay, now the drop rates on all of these are pretty low, but I'm still going to include them because how you get them to drop is pretty simple. So if you really like these, with enough dedication, you shouldn't have too hard of a time getting them to drop. Now finally, to end, I'd just like to mention a few cool looking weapons that you can just buy off the trading post. They're all pretty low cost. We have Aliraxa, a spear, which is another weapon from Guild Wars 1. This one used to be called the Voltaic Spear, which used to be one of the most valuable weapons back in that time. Cobalt, a great sword. This one lights up with blue flames when drawn, a classic for any beginner guardians. Entropy, a hammer, another nice particle effect on this one. Final Verdict, an axe. Prosperity, another hammer. Unity, a trident that actually looks like a classic trident. And Demise of the Dragon, a rifle that looks like a giant dragon-shaped cannon. All of these and many more can be acquired through rare drops in different areas of the game, but also they can just be bought from the trading post. Like I said, they don't cost that much. There are many other cool, good-looking weapon skins out there. These are just some of my personal favorites. You know, if you really do some digging and looking around, you'll find tons of affordable weapon skins. You don't always have to resort to the gem store to look good. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe you found some weapon skins that you like. Feel free to let the group know what other easy weapon skins there are out there. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.